a lot of people, again, as Stephanie mentioned, a lot of people in the industry at the time, sometimes it's family generated. I did not have that role either. And unfortunately, I didn't necessarily even have a healthy role for family role models. So most of my role models came and influence came from my coworkers and associates that I built up. So Frank Wakefield was definitely at the top of my list. He was my mentor. He was the one who advocated for me. Even when he said there will never be a woman cotton manager, he was a man who advocated and made sure I ended up, it took a little while with that title. So apparently he saw potential in me. He challenged me, he encouraged me, and he dared himself to break gender norms and allowed me to travel when there weren't a lot of women traveling around to represent our company, which allowed me to build my own network and also while extending the company's reach, of course. But he was like a father and a mentor to me. And then there was Dennis King, who was the manager, who eventually retired and I had taken over his place. He taught me so much about managing the cotton office, navigating personalities, and always with great stories behind our relationship as well. I will say someone else who had a really big influence early on in my career was a couple here in the US. It was Wynn Sr. and Peggy Cowan. When I was first starting to attend the conventions, they had a warehousing company, but they would take me under their wing and include me with their social circle, introduce me to mutual clients, and that really helped me, again, build a network. So these things are really important. But Stephanie mentioned someone just a few minutes ago that really has to say is one of probably the leading female inspiration that cotton has right now, and that would be Linda French. I mean, the role that she played at Allenberg, she was well known around the globe in the cotton industry. Her skills in navigating her trading and client management and the company strategies just outshined everyone at the time and really probably had a significant influence on Allenberg's position within the cotton industry back in the 80s and 90s. I seen her as someone who had no boundaries. And I mean, boundaries are limits. No, she felt no limits. And for me and other men as well, women as well as men, I think seen her as an icon. And recently, even Joe Nicosia shared with me that Linda French was his mentor. Now, that says a lot about the lady.
I'm glad. I'm glad that your opinion coincides with the opinion of Stephanie as well.
She was really a standout.
So, Stephanie, what about you? Who are some of the people who inspired you or were influential? Colleagues, family, others?
As Kim was already mentioning some names, I will also mention a name, but later on I will tell you why I would normally not name somebody. So, yes, I had a very good mentor, a late managing partner of the company, Hanna, was a very good mentor for me, and he gave me the opportunity to have the career in the company and to become managing director. But actually, I wanted to say I cannot name a special person. Yes, my colleagues, my family supported me. They are proud of what I achieved, but we had important ladies in all segments, like in the political world, in medicine, in science, and so on. So, for example, Marie Curie, she achieved great things. She received the Nobel Prize, but it was their way to achieve something, and it was with their mentality, with their personality. So I cannot be like somebody. I have to be authentic. So it's that's the reason why I say it's difficult who inspired me, because then I'm already on the way not to be myself, but to be like somebody.
Great. Of course, everybody knew Heinrich Hanna. He was a great mentor to you, but also an example to all of us, to many of us, for sure. I would like to hear Kim to tell us when you started, when you began your career. Did you imagine that you would have the leadership role in this profession? What motivated you to step up and become a leader in the organization?
Oh, Effie, a leadership role. Okay, well, I'm going to say I think there are many different types of leaders. And whereas I think I've always believed I could become the manager, or I believed I could run my own company, but never in my wildest imagination did I ever think that I could have been the president of the International Cotton Association. Some days I still wake up and want to pinch myself because it is the biggest honor I could have and the biggest shoes that I could fill in my career. But with that, I think motivation is very complex and very personal. It's different for everyone. And sometimes it takes some personal reflection. I think some people are motivated by values or goals. And some people may be driven by money or recognition or needing appreciation. But for me, I really think that my drive came from needing affirmation. In other words, I became an overachiever because my accomplishments I felt were tied probably to my self-worth. It took a course of women in leadership for me to recognize this and recognize that it's common really with a lot of successful women. It's not necessarily healthy, but once it's recognized, then it can be dealt with appropriately. And we can discuss that on another whole chat for change.
Yes. Yeah.
So I also believe in fate. There's some things that happen in life that are beyond your control or influence. And such was, I think, one of those events is when I joined the ICA Board of Directors. I mean, it wasn't anything I sought after or anything that I had my eyes set on, but somehow my name was put forward, and I expressed my delight if I would be elected, if I would be elected to be able to serve, because I know once with my motivation, if I commit to something, I will give it my all. So after some time on the board, you say what motivated me to put my hat forward for this? It wasn't necessarily me. I didn't set my eyes on the presidency either. It was a discussion with a fellow director on the board who one day had said, you need to throw your hat in for the second vice president nomination. And during that conversation, I said, not me. I am not the best qualified. And not only did he encourage me, but he later actually submitted my nomination. And to my surprise and delight, I won the election. So I learned also through what we've had to go through and learning and teaching myself about diversity and challenges women have in particular with leadership, is that over 85% of female CEOs said they never would have put their hand up for the position if it weren't for the encouragement and someone pushing them to do so. And the same thing happened to me.
I'm glad that you were encouraged and you were told that you are the best qualified and that your colleague submitted your nomination. We thank him very much for this. Stephanie?
Actually, the answer is definitely not. I did not imagine this because my first idea was not to stay in the company after being a trainee. So my idea was to go to university, become a teacher. But I changed my mind during the time to stay there. Yeah, there were in the very beginning there were other options. So. When I had the opportunity, it was not me raising the hand for this, but when I was offered the chance, I was thinking over it and realized the big chance to give other input, to give another view, and I had to sleep over it for a night or two. But then I said yes. I think it's a good opportunity, and I yeah I
You took it.
yeah it worked out. So I was elected as the female president of the Bremen Cotton Exchange.
It's not easy to take such a decision. The Bremen
Definitely.
No, you know what a big responsibility it is, and
Yeah.
it could be a scary step.
Yeah, so I started in summer 2020, so it was COVID time. We had to postpone the conference by 1 year, losing money on the postponement. Then we had to decide for a digital one, something which never happened before. Um, um, so really difficult times, decisions which haven't made in the past, but it worked out. On the other hand, I had the opportunities compared to others who were presidents before me. I had a lot of television interviews and in the local newspaper because they wanted to put something on the screen or in the paper beside COVID news. So they were open for stories. So a lot of people of Bremen now know the Bremen Cotton Exchange and what they are doing.
Great. So tell me, how do you think you can be powerful without alienating people or without upsetting people? What if people are unhappy? How can a woman work across the divides of opinions? What is your experience there?